Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Q. How are you doing? My name is Mark Bland, and joined tonight by a friend of mine, a gentleman by the name of Tony Cabral Esquire. Anthony Cabral Esquire. Can I call you Esquire?
I'm not sure why you are, but sure, if you really want to.
All right. Well, welcome to the Q. This is a brand new podcast featuring, well, you know, all kinds of cool different things going on in the world of. I like to say it's on the point of culture. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like it's fingers on the pulse of culture to an extent.
And you brought me here for your pilot initiation so that I can harass you.
Well, originally you weren't even supposed to be here by any means.
It was supposed to be a phone-in.
It was supposed to be a phone-in type situation, but then of course you had a sad situation happen,
Yes.
and you are still staying here in St. Louis at least till tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, I leave to go back out of town tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Well, you know, it's a long drive. Where are you going back to?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are you doing down there? Why don't you tell the people out there
Sure.
what you're doing out there?
Because my introduction was so glorious.
It was glorious.
Dr.
I think that you had a great introduction.
It was pretty nice, actually. I'm not complaining. No, I'm working on a feature film called The Door down in Baton Rouge right now. And it's a psychological thriller, you know, slight horror-esque, you know, no real monster, just about how our shadows can come kill us. You know, that's the type of film that it is. And it's an adventure. I mean, we're shooting all around Baton Rouge. It's the second feature I'm working on back-to-back down in Baton Rouge, so it's pretty nice down there, yeah.
Seems like you got a lot going on, man.
It's been a busy year, and I have to say that this has been...
Are you blessed? Are you blessed? Did you give thanks at Thanksgiving for the fact that you are so blessed?
I did, actually. In fact, it was blown across all of my social networks as well as my blog that, yes, I gave thanks to the amazing, great fortune that I've had this year. So
I see.
Yes.
I see completely.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, here is the situation, ladies and gentlemen.
What is the situation?
This is the Q. And actually, could you go get Patrick for me for 1 second?
Sure, hold on.
Would you be willing to go grab our friend Patrick? Because I'm not absolutely sure that we're recording at this moment. I'm assuming that there's something that's missing. I think that if you're going to have a glorious show such as the Q, you should be able to record the entire situation. But I've noticed, Patrick, if you come over here for 1 quick second here on the Q, I've noticed that is not checked, and that is, it doesn't, is it, but we're good? Yep. Okay, well then that's great. And by the way, this is Patrick, ladies and gentlemen. Say hi to the camera, Patrick.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, we're not only streaming.
It's the webcam thing that's kind of creeping me out a little bit.
You like the webcam thing, or you don't like the webcam thing?
It's kind of creeping me out.
You kind of, total?
It's kind of creeping me out.
Oh, it's okay. It's no big deal. But we got a lot of...
We want good things.
We want good things, and we have a lot of good things going on here on the Q. And like I said, my name is Mark Bland. I've been in radio and entertainment in St. Louis for about 15, 16 years now at this point.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Tony has been too.
Yes.
Just doing many different things. And he's not always here. Whenever I can have him on, he's going to kind of join me whenever I can. I love having him on here because he's one of my good friends. And we used to have a radio show together called Prime Time with Mark and Tony, which was on for about 2 years almost, a year and a half.
A little over a year and a half, yeah.
A little over a year and a half. And we had a good time doing that one. But the point of the Q, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. We are focusing on topical discussions and stuff like that. Now, since a couple of the people that I was supposed to have on the show tonight they had to bail because of the Thanksgiving weekend and family and everything like that.
It is a holiday weekend.
It is a holiday weekend. I give them all the credence in the world for that. We've had to put together a show a little bit. We're going to be joined by Mike Aframowitz at around 8:15. He should be calling to the show at around 8:15. He's with Strikeforce. He's the second in command for Strikeforce, the MMA company.
Sure.
And they have a show coming up on December 4th at the Scott Trade Center in St. Louis, as well as they have a thing.
That's a big show.
They're doing. Yes, it's a huge show.
The Scott Trade. I mean, that's their biggest show in St. Louis, isn't it?
It's not the first time. They've been here.
Because they've been on the east side a couple times. I know that Strikeforce has been over on the east side a couple times.
No. They've been to St. Louis 3 times.
Really?
Twice.
In Scott Trade?
Yes.
Really?
2 different shows at Scott Trade.
I didn't know that I thought they'd only had shows over in Illinois.
Oh, no. The first one was the Andre Arlovsky Brett Rogers match was on that card. The second one was Brett Rogers versus Alistair Overeem, the heavyweight champion for Strikeforce. That was
really
back in May or March of this year.
Oh, so they've all been this year, though?
No, just one has been this year.
Oh, just one.
This has been going back about a year and a half, almost 2 years. So
I have been out of town a little bit.
Oh yeah. But they're going to be back on December 4th for a big event at the Scott Trade Center. It's going to be Babalu Soberall versus our friend Dan Henderson. He's going to be fighting him that night, and we're going to talk to Mike. Hopefully, he's going to be getting in contact with us, as you can see on the webcam, because we've never done a show with the webcam, you and me.
I know, no. Like I said, this is kind of creepy to like they can see us.
I like the fact that they can see us, though. I think that that's kind of cool. But let's move on with the show. Let's keep the people interested.
Sure.
Harvard scientists, Tony.
Okay.
Harvard scientists reversed the aging process in mice,
Really?
and now they're going to work on human beings.
So they figured out how to make a mice grow backwards. And making them grow backwards, they think they can now make people grow backwards?
Well, let's take a look at this. Carol
I
Grutter.
saw this movie. It's called Benjamin Button.
Oh yes. That horrible movie with Brad Pitt in it. Although,
Not horrible.
well, okay,
Talking about.
whatever. All right, fair enough.
This is where our opinion differs, folks.
Carol Greider of Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, who is investigating the role of telomerase in aging. Scientists claim to be a step closer to reversing the aging process after rejuvenating worn-out organs in elderly mice. That's right. The experimental treatment developed by researchers at Harvard Medical School turned weak and feeble old mice into healthy animals by regenerating their aged bodies. The surprised recovery of animals has raised hopes among scientists that it may be possible to achieve a similar feat in humans, or at least to slow down the aging process.
So it works to fix and replace the organs that are deteriorating in aging animals.
Yeah, very.
It doesn't make you look younger, more it makes you like internally younger.
Right, so it's going to be the old Chevy body from 1959, but with brand new guts.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I was wondering I knew this wasn't like the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, but I was kind of wondering how this whole, aging backwards thing was going to actually work here.
Well, I just find it very interesting, this entire setup and everything. It just seems like some sci-fi stuff. Like, I was talking to Matt. You don't remember Matt?
Uh-huh.
I was talking to Matt when I have another show called Ramblings with Matt and Mark that I do every once in a while. And the other day, off the air, after we got done recording the podcast, me and Matt were sitting there and we were discussing, actually, I think it might be on the podcast too. You heard the podcast. I talked about the fact that, do you think comic book guys from back in the 1940s and 50s, like your Stan Lees and stuff like that, when they're like envisioning what the future was going to be like, now that it's the future, the time period that they were thinking about, do they kick themselves and like, I was such an idiot? Like, I'm just like, they were blown away by that idea, because this seems like that type of stuff.
Science fact. I mean, that's the whole thing. Science fiction has become science fact. The only things that we're still waiting for are transporters, teleporters.
Right.
We're waiting for warp speed and phaser cannons. That's about the only things we're still waiting on. Because
I think that they're already kind of close with the phaser
They're
cannons,
pretty
just
close
because
with
of
the
those the heat wave and sound wave devices that they've like developed for the military to use to go around corners and stuff like that.
Sure.
So
I mean, they're pretty close on the weapons side of things.
Oh my goodness!
But I mean, it is. You're right. I mean, it is the fact that when we were growing up back in the early '80s, and things seemed kind of cool, but it was slowly like, hey, that's almost plausible. But you go back to our parents when they were growing up, and it's like, it really was science fiction. And now science fiction, and this is the great term, it's becoming science fact.
I see.
And those things that were imaginary are now becoming factual. And it's kind of cool that way that, it's amazing how the things that we never thought were possible are more than possible, and they're actually real now. Now, do they look exactly the same as what, all those great, imaginary visionaries were thinking of? No. I mean, we're not... Oh, look at that.
I think we have a call coming in right now, ladies and gentlemen. I think this might be Mike Afromowitz. Let's see who it is. Mike.
Hello.
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 Hello. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello, Mike. Are you there?
Yeah, it's Michael Fromowitz with Strike Force.
Mike, what's going on? It's Mark Bland. How you doing, sir?
Good, you?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thank you for joining us on the queue tonight. Are you warm there? Where are you at currently?
What's that?
Where are you at currently? Where are you stationed at currently?
New York City.
You're in New York City right now. Is it cold up there? Are we warm? How's the situation?
Weather's pretty mild. It's not too bad this year so far.
All right.
Hopefully I get out to St. Louis okay on Tuesday.
All right. Well, yeah, you're going to be in St. Louis on Tuesday for the December 4th event over at the Scott Trade Center, Henderson versus Babalu Soberall, number 2. And prior to that, you and Rockstar Energy Drinks are holding the Holiday Hunt in St. Louis. let's talk a little bit about the show coming up, as well as let's talk about this holiday hunt, because when I saw this come across my desk, I was like, I got to get my guy Mike on the phone. I've got to talk to Mike about this. Tell me a little bit about this holiday hunt in St. Louis.
Well, it's we're really active in the St. Louis market now. It's been become like a second home for us, and we just wanted to come up with some new creative ways to really engage the fans and get people excited about the event coming up, and hopefully create some new fans.
I see. So now, with the way that this is being set up currently, you're going. Is it like a scavenger hunt? Is that the purpose behind this? Is it like a scavenger hunt, and it's going to have prize packs and stuff like that?
It is.
What's that?
That's exactly what it is.
Now you're going to have code words and prizes at stake for each day of this hunt, and they're going to be posted each day at 8 a.m. Central Time, beginning this Monday, which is tomorrow, with a follow-up post in the afternoon or evening containing additional information online at Strikeforce's official website, strikeforce.com/hunt. So, what have you tried this before with Strikeforce? Is this something new, just for the St. Louis area, or is this like has it had a test run before this?
We haven't done it yet. It's the holiday season, and like I said, we wanted to, come up with something creative, for the holiday season and for the, the fans in St. Louis. So, if it's successful, we'll do it again. Obviously, our presenting sponsor is Rockstar. They're supporting it. So they think it's a good idea, and we're going to run with it. And we'd like to bring it to more locations if it's successful.
Now let's talk.
This is the first one.
Now let's talk a little bit about the card that's coming up. Obviously, the main event, Dan Henderson versus Babalu Sobral. Obviously, working with Strikeforce, you are I would say an extremely high-end fan of mixed martial arts. I would hope. I'm
a fan of all combat sports, martial arts. I'd say I'm a fan of martial arts.
What's your favorite weight class in mixed martial arts?
Favorite weight class?
Yeah. What's the weight class you like to watch? Because for me, it's like middleweight.
I like the lightweights. I like to watch the speed of the fight. I like the I think the movement of our lightweights. In particular, is incredible to watch. We've got a really strong lightweight division now. Our middleweight division is really strong as well. So. But then our heavies are strong as well. So I wouldn't say I'm partial to any one weight class. I think each one has its own attributes that I'm fond of. So right now I'd say we have the strongest heavyweight division in MMA, and so it is definitely fun to watch the heavies right now. But I'm not too partial to any one weight class. I just really enjoy watching great fights.
Oh, fair enough. Now you guys got a huge pickup in Paul Daly, which it kind of sticks out on this card for me, being a huge MMA fan. I also host Absolute Wrestling Radio on Absolute Wrestling Radio on AbsoluteWrestlingRadio.com, as well as on Fox Sports part-time. And Paul Daly versus Scott Smith sticks out heavily to me because, am I correct, this is Paul Daly's debut with Strikeforce?
That's correct. It's his first fight Strikeforce. And
Scott's Hands of Steel Smith, he just recently came off of 2 matches back-to-back against Kung Lee, of all people. And Kung Lee is potentially, next to Anderson Silva over in that other company, arguably one of the greatest middleweights in the entire business. In the first match, it was one of the greatest fights I'd ever seen, Kung Lee versus Scott Smith, out of absolutely nowhere after an amazing beating that Scott Smith took. He catches Kung Lee off guard and gets the big win. The second match was equally as good. It went a few rounds, and of course, at that point, Kung Lee was able to get that back on him. But it showed a lot in that first match that Scott Smith is just not some chump to be taken lightly. And I think that Paul Daly has proven in the other company, as well as in his MMA career, that he is a very talented young man. What are you expecting out of Paul Daly and Scott Smith when they come to St. Louis on December 4th?
I'm expecting, just a pure firefight. It's going to be a wild fight to watch. I think these, both guys always come out blazing, and I don't expect this to be any different. Neither guy is gun shy ever, and I expect it to be a war.
All right, fair enough. Now, also on the card, Ruthless Robbie Lawler, a favorite of the St. Louis area because he's out of Granite City, just across the river from us. He's going to be going up against the 2000 Olympic Games silver medalist Matt Lindland, an unbelievable wrestler. I'm not sure who to, Robbie's one of those individuals in MMA. Either you love him or you hate him. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of hard for me to choose the hometown boy or Matt Lindland. Just because I know that I should choose the hometown boy, but I'm not a big Robbie Lawler fan. It's the attitude. But then again, he backs the attitude up half the time. So I'm kind of struck there, as well as you got Lee Brousseau out of Riverwood, Missouri versus Mike Glenn. You got Ben Brown on the card. You got a lot of local flavor. And like I said, this is your third time, am I correct, that you're back in St. Louis?
This is our third time, yes. Our second time this year, and we were there once last year.
And I noticed someone that's not on this card that I have seen on the last two cards is Jesse Finney, another local St. Louis fighter. Is Jesse, currently injured, or does he have like another fight that he's preparing for, or is this just a situation where he just wasn't even approached for this one?
He's injured right now. Originally he was going to fight on the card, but unfortunately he sustained some type of injury. But he'll be back.
Now
he'll be back next time that we're there. It's unfortunate we don't have Jesse for this one, but at least we have his support.
Oh, fair enough. Dan Henderson versus Renato Babalu Sobral in the main event of that fight. That's going to be after what I consider somewhat of a little bit. You're going to have Antonio Bigfoot Silva on there, Alistair Overeem's brother. I don't even know. It's Valentin Overeem or Valentian, something like that.
Yeah, Valentin.
Valentin.
He had to pull out as of yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it in the news, but he has an elbow injury. So we're going to be announcing a new opponent soon as we confirm it, probably by tomorrow.
All right, fair enough. And, of course, Herschel Walker was originally scheduled to be on this card, the famous NFL Hall of Famer, but he had to pull out himself due to an injury to the eye, from what I heard. So you got a really strong card. Who are you picking in this fight, Henderson or Sobral? I mean, this is number 2. Who do you got?
It's too tough, to call. It's really, it's a tough one to call. I mean, I would have to say that, it's a critical point in both fighters' careers,
Oh, definitely.
And so it's not like it means anything less to either fighter. Obviously, there's, it's 10 years in the making, and both fighters, looked impressive in their last fights. Dan, lost, but he looked good. And Babalu obviously came up with a big win against Robbie in L.A. But it's tough to say. I think it's another fight that's going to be it's going to be very full of action. It's going to be a war. And we'll just have to see on Saturday.
Now, my last question before we get off the line with you is something. Just because I'm a big MMA fan, I got to ask you. Obviously, being on the inside like you are, we know that Fedor lost his last match to Verdun, and then we have Alistair Overeem, who just dismantled Brett Rogers. There had been talks for a long time, Fedor versus Alistair. Unfortunately, with the loss to Verdun, you're kind of, stuck in a position because from what I know, he's only got like 1 or 2 fights potentially left on his contract. So the question is do you give everyone the fight in Fedor versus Alistair Overeem, or do you give him the rematch? Do we give him the rematch against Verdun so that he can try to rekindle or re-grab that magic that he had? Not that I feel that he lost it. It's just it's just the way the cookie crumbled that night.
Yeah, I think that, he wants Verdun next, and Verdun's next fight in the States, he wants another fight with Fedor. So I would think that, that match would happen first, and depending on the outcome, the winner, could potentially fight Alistair, our champion.
All right, fair enough. Well, Mike Aframowicz from Strikeforce, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike, if they want to get a hold of any of the information in regards to the holiday hunt here in St. Louis for the prize packs, there's going to be tickets given away in these prize packs, tickets to the show on December 4th, as well as stuff. They can go to strikeforce.com/hunt. or they can check out the Strikeforce Twitter page, twitter.com/Strikeforce. And you guys also have a Facebook page, though the Facebook page is a little bit harder for me to discern on here. I'm going to say it would be smart if everyone went to facebook.com and searched the name Strikeforce, all one word, for them to find the main page for Strikeforce. But I expect huge things with this match and this competition that's going to be coming to St. Louis on December 4th. And Mike, thank you so much for joining us today on the Q.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Mark.
All right, man. Take care of yourself, bro.
Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mike Aframowitz from Strikeforce, and he joined us on the line. Tickets are on sale at the Scott Trade Center, online at Ticketmaster.com and Strikeforce.com, or by phone, 1-800-745-3000. The doors of the Scott Trade Center will open for the event at 6 p.m. Central Time. The first preliminary bout begins at 6:30. And the first televised main card fight will begin at 9 p.m. So here's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break on the Q. And when we come back, me and Tony, let's talk some Christmas movies. You like Christmas movies?
Sure.
You sort of do? You kind of do? You don't?
I mean, sure.
You're in the middle of shooting a movie during the Christmas holiday season.
I am, yeah.
He's so into the Christmas movies that he can't get away from it.
I have so much production on the brain, it's kind of killing me.
All right, fair enough. We'll be back right after this, ladies and gentlemen.
Rockstar Energy Drink and Strikeforce present Henderson versus Babalu live at Scott Trade Center on Saturday, December 4th. Don't miss the only man to hold 2 championship belts in 2 different weight classes at the same time. Dan Henderson, when he battles one of the most fierce fighters in the world, Babalu Sabral. Plus, it's the highly anticipated return to the cage of one of the greatest athletes of our generation, Herschel Walker. Get your tickets now to witness the biggest fight card in St. Louis history. Online at Ticketmaster.com or at the Scott Trade Center ticket office. Rockstar presents Strikeforce, Henderson versus Babalu. Fight card subject to change.
Another night
Welcome back to the Q, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, that's Flycase for Sushi, a rock band signed to Convict Musicon Live Records. So check them out if you get a chance. Go to myspace.com/Flycase for Sushi to hear a lot of their music. They've been so gracious as to allow me to use the songs that they have.
It's an amazing small wonder in your world, Mark.
It is a
Bland.
small wonder in my world. But
Amazing
welcome back to
small
the Q. We want to thank Micah Fromowitz from Strike Force for coming on the show. What a nice guy. What a generally nice individual.
Yeah.
To join us on here. So that's kind of nice. I like that. Uh-oh. All kinds of things are going on.
You having
on
fun
my
over
screen.
there?
I'm trying to have fun over here, man. I don't know if it's possible or what, but something's going on over here. So anyway,
what do you want to talk about?
well, let's talk about some Christmas movies. Before the break, I kind of threw that out there. Holiday films are an important part of the American pastime, are they not?
Yes.
Would you agree, being the movie executive that you are yourself?
Sure.
However, such a genre requires some skill to execute, and one must include all the important ingredients, namely 2 cups of heart, a dash of fantastical whimsy, and a good old spoonful of Yuletide rejuvenation in order for a traditional holiday film to work. With that in mind, we here at the Q decide to compile a list of the best holiday movies. So I'm going to start it off. Now, I kind of compiled this list myself. If you have a movie that doesn't necessarily fall on this line, go ahead and throw it in there.
Sure.
Agree with what you like, disagree with what you hate,
I got odds.
by any means necessary.
Sure.
And of course, hey, if you guys want to join us, if you're listening online right now, are there what? I just got a post on Facebook out of nowhere. It says Rip Leslie Nielsen. Rip Leslie Nielsen. So funny, such great delivery. One of my favorite and true great actors of our time.
Looking it up.
Look it up right now. If Leslie Nielsen passed away or the information came out live on the Q, that's what the Q delivers to you guys. That's what we bring to this show. So, interesting. Very interesting. But if you have anything you want to add out there in Radio Land or online while you're cruising around on the internet, checking out your Black Friday, or is tomorrow Internet Monday or whatever? What they call it? I can't even remember what they call it. It's like the internet websites, but I thought the internet websites have already been doing like 1,000 different things. Anyway, for like saving you money, like Black Friday. So
Of course.
So anyway, here's the situation. Basically, what we're going to do is pretty simple. We're going to break down some of these holiday movies. If you want to join us, 314-266-1828. That number again is 314-266-1828. Join us on the line. Hit us up. Tell us what you think. You know, if you like a movie, if you don't like a movie, if you want to add your own movie to the situation, beautiful, do it.
Well, I can tell you this. 34 minutes ago, reported by TMZ, legendary funny man Leslie Nielsen died today of complications of pneumonia in a hospital near his home in Fort Lauderdale.
That is sad.
He was 84 years old.
That is so sad, dude. I love the Naked Gun movies. Now, Leslie Nielsen was Airplane. I mean, Leslie Nielsen
I'm going to start with this. I want to wait before I even post it to my social network.
Whoa.
I'm gonna wait 15 minutes until I know it's legitimate.
Fair enough, but you know what? TMZ has really become a go-to spot, and they're really good about being on point with their stuff.
Yeah,
like
they've fallen victim to a couple of the.
But they broke the Michael
spoofs.
Jackson.
They've broken them, but they
They
jumped
were
so
standing
fast.
there with cameras when it happened.
Well, true.
I mean, they were the first to
did
break
they not fall
it.
victim a couple times to a few other of the celebrity death
I
hoaxes?
think that was a little bit earlier in their days.
they got
Now
it.
they're pretty on top of it, and of course, with Harvey being a lawyer, he's not going to allow anything to really go out there anymore without covering his butt, as we say here on the show. But anyway, 314-266-1828 if you want to join us on the Q. Next week on the Q, I'm going to be joined by a couple of local urban media specialists, a guy by the name of Jay Depp, another gentleman by the name of O from StreetStatus.tv, and we're going to talk about, you've seen YouTube, obviously. Everyone knows about YouTube. Well, there are internet-based urban websites like World Star Hip Hop and Vlad TV, and they are a little bit more edgy with what the videos that they put up there. A lot of beef videos, a lot of fight videos, a lot of rappers debuting their videos and stuff like that. And I want to talk about internet media in general, as well as the overall scope of how these two gentlemen, because they both have their own separate sites that have just been developed over the last 6 months, and how these things are going for them, and what their opinion is, why they got involved in it, where they think they can take it, where it's going to go. Maybe it's very possible it's just going to go completely horrible, but we're going to talk to them next week. Let's get to these Christmas movies right now here on the queue. Tony,
Sure.
number one on my list is A Christmas Story. The 24-hour marathon that is The Christmas Story.
Yes. No,
You just like the movie.
I'm agreeing with you that it is a classic tale. It is one that they still do run 24-hour marathons of, much like It's a Wonderful Life. They do that every once in a while, and Miracle on 34th Street. But the thing that you also run into is I've heard the whimsy in the past that they want to remake A Christmas Story, which would, of course, on previous incarnations of things that you and I have done where we have microphones, in front of us recording what we're saying, we've discussed the fact that I am completely against all these remaking of movies like this, especially one that it's not even 20 years old.
Yeah, actually,
Is it 20? Yeah, it is. It's 27 years old, but it's 27 years old, but it's still a classic. They're still running it every Christmas in a marathon format. Why would you want to remake that movie? How can you possibly think that you would make a better movie than what they made originally?
Plus, Darren McGavin, Kolchak from The Night Stalkers, the dad, the Bumpus's dogs. Oh, man. That's the problem. I think, and I've talked with Matt and other people about this in this industry in general. I think that there's a certain group of people like ourselves, Tony, that are always looking for unique, new, and intrinsic ideas. There's another group
They
of people.
apparently don't work at film studios.
And there's another group of people that just happen to be connected and know a few people in the industry, and they, because of their friendships and their relationships with these individuals,
Sure,
they're willing to go grab old stuff that has already been done really well and trying to redo it. Certain movies just don't need to be touched.
Then, yeah, you're right. I mean, I know they remade Miracle on 34th Street.
Is there a need for Avatar 2? No. Even though it's a brand new idea, brand new movie, there's no need for Avatar 2.
I didn't know that Avatar was a Christmas movie, but thank you for telling me.
Well, hey,
we learn something new on the queue every week. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen.
He's going to make a lot of money this Christmas with those Blu-ray sales. I'll tell you that.
But he'd make even more if he, and I'm willing to bet a week before Christmas is going to come out the Blu-ray 3D special edition that you must go rebuy another version of it.
Fair enough.
Because he's not rich enough.
Now,
he's not paying my bills yet.
With Christmas Story being on my list in the top 10 Christmas movies of all time, also is It's a Wonderful Life.
Of course.
I think that's granted. And here's the funny thing. A lot of people always slam I don't like it. It's in black and white. It's this, that. They have a million reasons why they don't like It's a Wonderful Life. The acting was actually really well done.
Of course.
Yeah, it's
a classic holiday film. It's one of the few that has not been redone in modern times. Miracle has been.
Which is kind of funny that they haven't redone It's a Wonderful Life.
And I think part of it is because the studio looks at that and says, iconic and classic and you can't touch. But I'm not sure. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, next movie.
All right, next movie. This has got a special place in my heart.
Okay.
Muppet Christmas Carol.
Muppet Christmas Carol. Okay.
Not that I don't like the Christmas Carol or the one that Jim Carrey released last year or any of the other incarnations of the Christmas Carol, but I just think the Muppets added that little bit, they gave me more than Mickey Mouse did, but not quite as much as George C. Scott did. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, therefore, it's kind of got that kitschy feel for me.
Sure.
But I think these are movies that people should definitely check out at least once in their life.
It's from 1992, yeah. We were still in high school when that was going on.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had a good time. I would say the next
Michael
one.
Caine action. So
the next one is a guarantee. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Sure, of course.
And I'm amazed that they haven't tried to redo that one too. Why?
No, they couldn't. Could they?
I think that they could totally take the kids.
I think
like they did with Meet the Fockers. I think they could totally take the kids as the focus.
Have a new Christmas story. A new Christmas
vacation and have grandpa and grandma with the kids, with the grandkids.
The next Christmas vacation.
The next Christmas vacation and stuff like that. I think that would
don't redo it. Do an original version, even if you're using the same characters. Don't redo the actual movie.
Might be hard to get a hold of Randy Quaid right now. I'm just going to be honest.
Well, yeah, because the Star Whackers are out there killing people, he says. According to his crazy wife, the Star Whackers are out to get us.
Now, I only put this next one on the list, and it's because of the graphics, the way it looks, the CGI, the effects. I put the Polar Express on there.
Okay.
I put the Polar Express on there.
Okay.
Not a bad movie. Kids like it.
Kind of new, you know.
Kind of a newer movie.
Wasn't expecting to see that one pop up on the list so soon.
Creepy kid looks aside. I would
Sure.
probably say the Polar Express.
You know, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, the next one holds a very dear place in my heart. It's 1990. I'm getting ready to start high school. I'm in 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? And it's that whole time period, Home Alone.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't realize that
Chris
Home Alone was
Columbus.
about Christmas. Like, they always forget. They just,
Well, I think they think of I know a lot of people that we've had this discussion. They get confused because they're like, he's running around a city, but both movies take place at Christmas time.
Yes.
Home Alone 1, he's at the house,
Right.
And Home Alone 2, he's running around Manhattan.
That's right.
And
the Waldorf Astoria.
And it always cracks me up when I hear the director's name because the director's name was Christopher Columbus, but Chris Columbus did a great job actually pulling together that little franchise.
Another one on the list that I've joined in for us is Elf. From 2003.
Little Will Ferrell.
I think that it might be next to my number ones. I have a pair of number ones that are tied.
Okay.
Okay. But I think Elf could be a strong second, actually. The only reason I did is because it's my mom's favorite movie. She's a huge fan of it. But I'm going to say Elf because Will Ferrell brought a little bit. It's a very funny movie. There's a lot of great scenes in it. It doesn't smack you over the head with the whole Christmas spirit thing. What it does is it allows you to see a story of this guy within the Christmas holiday season. Whereas a lot of the movies, like my number 2 is Miracle on 34th Street. It beats you over the head with the whole Macy's Day Parade and Santa Claus and the whole idea of what Christmas is and physically means. And this.
Well,
and the
it
other.
takes a very comedic look at the fact that what somebody believes, whether you believe it or not, is it's the same thing as Miracle on 34th Street.
Right, of course.
Buddy the Elf, he believed and he loved Santa Claus. And, everyone's like, oh, you're crazy, you're crazy. The same thing as Miracle on 34th Street. They're like, you can't be Kris Kringle because Kris Kringle's not a real person.
Right, but I think I just like the way that Will Ferrell kind of came off in that movie. It just
Sure.
was well done, I felt.
I know Santa Claus.
I
I know him. I know him.
You sit on a throne of lies.
What's next, buddy?
My number ones.
number
Ones.
ones.
Now, one is because it also came out at the same time as Elf. It was actually competition for Elf.
Okay.
And the other one is just a classic in my opinion. It's Scrooged is one of them
Okay.
with Bill Murray, and the other one is Bad Santa.
No, Scrooge. Okay.
Now,
Okay.
Scrooged is one of those underlying cult favorite Christmas movies. Scrooged is not one of the ones like your Miracle on 34th Streets and your It's a Wonderful Lives and the Christmas Story and all that. It's not the ones that everyone and their mama kind of talks about. It's the one that when you saw it, you really liked it. You might have forgot about it. You hadn't seen it for a few years. You caught back up and, caught a rerun of it or something. You were like, love that movie.
No, you're talking about
Scrooge.
You're talking about Scrooge. Oh yeah, because it's Bill Murray's take on the entire concept,
Right.
which we've all seen the classic versions and the Disney version and the Muppet version, and it's Bill Murray's version and it's quite original.
And, of course, we have Bobcat Goldthwait in it. So that's always
course.
nice. You gotta
Love the Bobcat.
And it's at a time when he was still using the weird voice all the time.
Yeah.
As opposed to doing what he does now, which is not use the weird voice all the time.
But Bad Santa, the one that you said was competition.
I love Bad Santa.
That's definitely.
I just love that
it's
over the head
completely-
crassness.
Well, it's not the typical Christmas movie. Like there's a couple on the list that I actually would.
It's
would
an
name
adult's
off.
Christmas movie.
Definitely is dark black comedy, and it doesn't. It's like you're not looking at the happy, fluffy, everything's good Santa. You're like.
This dude's a douche.
there's-
He's a total
Yes.
D-bag. Okay,
Yes,
total D-bag. So those are my top 10, 11 Christmas movies
Sure.
that people should definitely check out. Anything that you thought I left off?
See, the ones that jump out in my mind are always, of course, there's the classics, of course, Christmas Story, Miracle, It's a Wonderful Life. But I always think of things like Die Hard. There's always Gremlins.
Gremlins is a
You
good
know.
one. See, that's another one of those movies that people forget that it was about Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
because of the way the movie was formulated.
Right.
It wasn't focused on Christmas. It was focused around Christmas. So yeah, I like Gremlins a lot too.
But
I
Nightmare
think that
Before
Christmas would have made Goonies better. I think if you had the Christmas aspect with the movie Goonies the way it stands, but it had been formulated around Christmas time, Which is it? Wait a second, is it?
Which one? Goonies?
Goonies.
Goonies isn't. Gremlins.
But is Goonies also?
No.
They were going to take away the house, and
No,
it was the best Christmas gift they could ever get. Was finding One-Eyed Willie in the ship and all the money and all that? Is it formulated in like Seattle Christmas time? Find out for us.
I'll look, but I don't
Okay.
think it was.
Anyway, we're going to move on. So I got some questions of the week, dude.
Okay.
Every week here on The Q, we're going to do some questions of the week. And people are just going to pick our brains. And if you'd like to pick our brains, 314-266-1828. That number again is 314-266-1828. Tell your friends and family about The Q. You can go to VERadionetwork.com, exclusively on VERadionetwork.com. The podcast, you can check it out here at VERadionetwork.com. Just click on the banner that says The Q with Mark Bland. Also, you can check out AbsoluteWrestlingRadio.com. I'm going to have Ramblings with Matt and Mark on there, as well as a few other shows that I do. So check that out. What historical figure, Tony, do you most identify with?
What historical figure do I most...
What historical figure? Like, if there is a figure in history that you...
Nothing I could say now could possibly not get a barrage of hatred my direction right now.
Go for it.
Or bereavement. I don't know. Like, I mean...
What are you going to say, Hitler or
No,
something?
no, like I'm talking like like if I know who I like have as like iconic figures who I look up to.
Who's that?
And I idolize. Of course, like.
But there's no one in history that when you hear their story and saw about them, you were like, I kind of really feel like I'm that type of individual. Because for me, a historical person that I identify with very heavily is probably Wyatt Earp. Just from the stories that I see, the kind of person that he was.
That was the farthest thing from left field I could have possibly heard come out of your mouth.
Who do you think that I emulate? If you like, if you say Hitler, you're getting punched.
I'm not saying Hitler.
That's just-
We're not going there. Wow, this is definitely one of the left field questions I didn't expect to get tonight.
Of course not. That's what we do on the Q, man. This is entertainment. This is radio the way it should be, dude.
We do something.
We bring a little attitude to radio, man.
No, it's. I don't know, man. This is one of those things that I like to be a little prepared for, so I can ponder.
Okay, so here's
as I harness my chi.
So here's the situation. It's currently 8:46.
Yeah, it's 8:46.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to give you some time. Think in the back of your mind. I'm going to move on to our next question. Okay,
sure.
I'm going to move on to the next question. You think about it in the back of your mind. By the end of the show at 9 o'clock, I want you to
I have
see if you got
14 minutes.
You got somebody at all. I don't even care if it's Stonewall Jackson. I don't care who it is. It could be anybody. Abraham Lincoln. It could be Michael Bay. I mean, it's very possible. It's
No,
George Lucas.
I've worked with enough people that have worked with Bay, and
I would say that George
No.
Lucas and Steven Spielberg are historical figures at this
I
point.
would say if anybody,
No more or less than Cecil B. DeMille or any of those guys.
Well, see if I say somebody like from the grandfathers of the film industry, like DeMille or the brothers Warner or anything like that. And mind you, they were also greedy, maniacal guys like most of the studio heads are today. They were older when they got into this industry.
Right.
I kind of fought my way in. I mean, of course, I look up to Steven Spielberg.
I'm
Here's a
still
guy
fighting my way in.
who walked in and got to be an intern on a TV show, and after his little internship was up, he kept sneaking back onto the lot until he got a job. And that's amazing. To kind of sneak in that way. One of my other idols, Bruckheimer, good old Jerry Bruckheimer. He was an ad exec in New York and managed to work his way over and partnered up with Don Simpson before he passed away. And they made countless motion pictures together before he branched off, and of course, down as television. And
All right. Well, you think about it.
So,
You think
okay, I'll
about it. You
think
think
about
about it a little bit. Okay.
it's going to be somebody in this industry.
So Tony, I'm gonna pose something that was posed to me via email.
oh God.
Just something that was sent to me.
Okay.
Well, actually, it wasn't quite sent to me. I kind of, I just thought, there's a lot of people out there in radio land in the United States that they kind of like to give their opinions about just random stuff.
Radio Land. Okay, go ahead.
And I feel on internet world, the interwebs, and I feel that maybe we could answer some of these questions for these people, just because we have that wisdom that is possessed,
We have the
or
power.
needed to be possessed. I'm a 23-year-old female college student whose life consists of going to class and going to the gym. I got hurt in my last relationship, so I've been staying away from dating for a while. I'm attractive, and I notice guys checking me out. Making the gym a second home does have its benefits, but I'm afraid I come off as unapproachable. I've noticed this fine guy at the gym. From the way he looks at me, I can tell he's interested, but I have no idea why he hasn't approached me yet. We make a lot of eye contact while we work out, and some days he'll walk by my treadmill and awkwardly smile, but we've talked only once. Is he shy? Should I try to talk to him again? How can I come off as more approachable? I'm finding myself obsessing over him. Like I said, he is good looking, but the more I do, the more pathetic I feel. How do we help this young lady? How do we give this young lady the information she needs to be more approachable at the gym?
I would say just, stop thinking and just kind of go for it. I mean, like, the principle of no guts, no glory does actually apply here.
Also, I think this kind of falls into line with the, she's posing the question from her point of view as, I feel that I'm unapproachable.
Oh, I can tell you for a fact.
Why can't
being a
she-
shy guy, as much as you think that I'm not, most people in the planet
No,
think I'm
I
shy.
feel that you are.
Being a shy guy that I am, I
think
know
you're
for a
ripped.
fact that I would be more afraid to talk to a girl if I was at the gym. Mind you, I'm not the kind of guy in the gym yet.
Fair enough.
But if I was in the gym working out, I know that I couldn't walk up to a girl and be like, "Hi, you look fantastic. Let's go out for coffee sometime."
Now, why can't
I would
you-
probably have a heart attack?
I would suggest to her to approach him.
Yeah, just walk up and say, "Hey," walk
Hey.
up and be like,
Mark from the Q Show, along with Tony Cabral, said that you might like it if I just walked up to you and just said, "Hey, what's going on?" I mean, they've already talked once.
Well,
she said.
I also look at it in this respect. She's got absolutely nothing to lose. If the guy's kind of checking her out and kind of
Right,
giving her the
exactly.
little smile, obviously the kind of the doorway's open for communication. He is very probably, and I have a lot of friends who like this too. My best friend Daniel's the same way.
Right.
Very, very shy. And if somebody's actually going to look across the room and smile and whatever else, they're probably so intimidated that they're going to screw something up.
Yeah.
That they're not about to get up and walk over there and be like, "Hey, how you doing? You want to get some coffee?" But if she came over, this is Daniel's whole thing. He's like, "Well, why didn't she come over and talk to me?"
Oh, yeah.
If she comes, if she was to go over to him and be like, "Hey, you want to go get some coffee?" There's nothing wrong with it. There's no protocols. This is 2010. This isn't like 1960 when it's like the guy asked the girl out, and that's the way it is.
All
That's
right.
out the window. Go say it. She can go up to him on her own and be like, "Hey, you want to go get some drink? Get a drink, get a coffee, get a Jamba Juice, or
Do whatever.
do whatever." Right?
I mean, worst case scenario, even in the world of social networking the way it is,
Right.
Tell them what your Facebook page is. Say, "Hey, why don't you be my friend on Facebook?" When you're behind
No.
a hold on. Hear my point. Hear my point of view, though. Okay, we see it on Facebook all day. I like to rant sometimes. You know that.
oh God, yes.
There's a lot of people out there that like to just say things because they feel hidden behind a computer screen.
Sure.
But if this is a person that you know personally, like I know you, Tony, right? We're friends on Facebook.
Yes.
If I make a comment or say something, you're going to attribute that to the personality traits that you already know of me, and you're going to base your decisions of what I say off of that and how you're going to react to it, okay?
Sure.
So if she's already had a conversation with the guy, go ahead and let him know about your Facebook page. Be friends on Facebook, and then you guys can talk because with that computer screen in front of you and that separation, she knows who you are. You know you guys can talk in real life, but
I'm sorry.
I think it's an icebreaker, too.
I'm
No.
calling shenanigans.
No, it's an icebreaker.
Unless they're meeting on
icebreaker. Dude.
Dude,
send
unless-
them a
hold on,
video.
hold on,
Hold on.
calm
You
down.
send them a video on their Facebook page. Hey, you need to check this out. There's an easy way
I've
to
awoken
create
a demon.
approachability. There's an easy way to create approachability right there.
I would say that's kind of stalkerish, really standoffish. You say, "Oh, here's my Facebook page." No. You know what? If you're in person, stay in person. If they met on Match.com, sure. You know what? Here's my Facebook page. Let's chat over there instead of email on Match.com or another dating website.
Okay.
If they're in person, keep it in person. Because the number one problem that they talk about in society today is how the in-person factor is depersonalized by all the social networks because kids are getting more chat online than in person. They're losing their interpersonal communication skills because they spend so much time online. If they have the chance to be interpersonal and communicate in person, don't take that away and go to
But
Facebook.
she's looking for icebreakers. She's looking for approachability. She's looking for things to knock down that whole interaction, personal one. Okay, regardless. You got my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. I said try the Facebook approach, throw it out there a little bit. Tony's like, no, that seems too impersonal. I'm saying use his personal approach and add Facebook to it is what I was saying.
I
Regardless.
think
Okay.
that would backfire.
All right, let's look at one more question of the week, okay?
7 minutes.
My same-sex partner and I are legally married in another country, a marriage not recognized by our state, federal government, with significant negative consequences to our modest financial situation.
Okay.
My partner would be eligible for some government aid if she applied as a single person, but it feels disingenuous to do so because, as a family, we make well above the poverty line. In some sense, however, the government owes us this money since it unjustly disregards our marriage. Should she apply? So this is a moral question. This comes down to, do I want to play the moral card of I make enough money, I'm not going to hit the government up for it, but because my relationship as a, obviously, same-sex marriage is not recognized by the government, maybe I should just go in there as a single person and get myself some free loot.
You know,
how do you look at that?
I'm not one for people going and getting handouts. I think that there should be definitely a set time limit on like welfare and stuff like that. People suck it dry for way too long. But you know, if they need it to help their situation, you know, you got to take it in stride and let it ride. You got to get in there and do what you got to do. If you know, I understand the fact too.
But she says they make well above the poverty line. It's not.
If they don't need the money, then don't do it. If they need the money to survive, and hey, you know what, we need to do this, but we have to file independently. Then file independently. You know, don't sit there and, you know, I don't know. It's just, that was a hard one to really understand. So they don't need the money, but they want to file for money.
Right. Basically, they feel that, you know, she'd be eligible for some government aid. It's an ethical question, is what it really comes down to. It's morals and ethics, you know. It's an ethical question. Do I screw the government because I can, or do I not? Okay, because I feel that we are a same-sex marriage company that needs to be recognized.
If the one partner is out of work and the one partner is working, but they're making like a hair above the line, well, the one partner who's not working should file what they need to file if they need to. I mean, I understand that. And if in order to get the money, they have to file independently, then, you know, hey, for that 1-2 months they need to until their job falls back in place, file independently. I mean, you're not discrediting the relationship.
Right, fair enough.
You know? I mean, if it's something that needs to happen economically, you got to do what you got to do.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time for us to get out of here on The Q, the first episode, the debut episode of The Q. And
it went way too fast.
It did go by way too fast. I need at least 2 hours, but hey, you know, I work with what I'm given, and that's all there is to it. I ain't got a problem with that. You ain't got a problem with that. Plus, you're going to be shooting movies anyway.
I'm kind of here by sheer chance. So I wasn't really planning to be here right now, but hey, how you doing?
What do you think of Daniel? Just give me a quick yes or no. You like it, bad, thumbs up, thumbs down. Daniel Day-Lewis as Abe Lincoln?
I'm intrigued. I'm actually really curious.
I think he could pull it off.
I think he could. Well, obviously, I think he can because the man in the director's chair is Mr. Spielberg.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Spielberg, where do I send my resume?
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to get out of here on The Q Show. I want to say a couple of things before we just kind of roll on out of here like that. So, if I could get this to play, that would be really...
And no, The Goonies was not a Christmas movie.
The Goonies was not a Christmas movie.
Nope.
Just not a Christmas movie at all.
Nope.
Why won't this play? I just don't get it. Anyway, I want to thank VERadionetwork.com for hosting this show on their site. Thank you so much for doing that.
VERadionetwork.com.
That's right. Also, thanks to Tony, Michael Fromowitz for joining me today, Patrick for helping out. Visit strikeforce.com for more information regarding the holiday hunt. For replays of this show, visit VERadionetwork.com or AbsoluteWrestlingRadio.com. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/blandmusic, and you can always hit me up directly through email at mark@absolutewrestlingradio.com. Do you want to give your email address out there?
Yeah, if they want to find out more about myself, they can always go to acefilms.com. It's ACEFILMS, acefilms.com. Links to everything on my social end of the world.
All right, fair enough. And next week, we're going to be talking about internet media sites, the urban side of it, just like I told you guys we would be doing. So, should be very interesting. And we're just not we're not getting anything.
There you go.
It's time for us to get out of here on The Q Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be here next Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, at 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. It's The Q on VERadionetwork.com. My name is Mark Bland.
I'm Tony Cabral.
And we'll see you later.